So I'm at the K-Mart in Sumter, South Carolina. This is one of the K-Marts that is set to close in 2019, I believe, March. And so let's take a look inside. So this K-Mart was a big part of my childhood. One of the first things that was done was that I got my first professional baby pictures done here through Olin Mills, and that started in the late 1990s, which was around when I was born. But this unfortunately started to decline with the digital age, and Olin Mills ended up selling their business to Lifetouch in 2011. And then in 2012, Lifetouch closed the Olin Mills studios, and by 2013, pretty much all of them were closed. So, yeah, that's a little fun fact. I apologize for the rabbit trail. I'll quit talking periodically so you can just see part of the store. But right now we're coming up on the girls department. It'll be over here on the left. Here we go. So this was also a big part of my childhood. I remember going back to school shopping here with my grandmother and my mom. And yeah, I feel like I just spent a lot of my childhood here. And as you can see, a lot of these things are just on clearance, or some of these shelves are starting to go empty now. And right here you can see they're starting to get a little bit of a leak in the roof. Coming up here straight is, well, it was the K-Mart K-Cafe, and this was definitely a part of my childhood, as it probably was many other people's. I remember coming here just while we were shopping, and I would get maybe like an icy or a hot dog. Sometimes I think they had popcorn, but as you can see, there's still fans and everything in there from the K Cafe. And I think it was pretty clever how they covered it up with Carolina Clemson. Go Carolina. Sorry for any Clemson fans out there. I'm a Gamecock at heart, and I will always be. So they just have a lot of sportswear back here now. And what's behind this little area is pretty interesting. Here it is. This is the area behind the counter of the K-Mart Cafe, and as you can see, there's still the menu with the Nathan's hot dogs and the ices. And now they just have a bunch of boxes back here. And the old oven. But I definitely think this was a clever way to cover up a part of their business that was declining. As you can see, a lot of things are just being marked down to half off, or probably more. It's not quite as barren as I was expecting, but I can definitely tell they're getting ready to close, and it's honestly a little bit sad just seeing that a store that's a big part of my childhood is kind of on its way out. Here's another fun fact. My mother, there's a Burger King across the street from this Kmart, and my mother would sit on the little patio area with my grandmother, like when she was younger, and she would watch this Kmart being built. So this is been a part of a couple of generations of my family. If you haven't noticed already, I'm the queen of rabbit trails, so I apologize for the rabbit trails I've gone on. And as you can see here, we're coming up on what used to be the K-Mart pharmacy, which actually was not around here when I was a child. And just from asking around, this apparently was opened recently, but it was not successful. So unfortunately, that had to be shut down. And some of the shelves are starting to become bare, as you can see. And here's the front of it. I never remember this being here, so. And we're back on the main aisle. I did get distracted by that just because I had never seen it before, and so that's how that happened. One thing that I thought was funny walking down this aisle, I don't know if you could really see much on my left. I kind of didn't have the camera pointed at that angle, but they had a bunch of kayaks for sale, and I just thought it was pretty funny. I wouldn't really think of buying a kayak from K-Mart, but I guess some people do. Yeah, Christmas merchandise can't be returned after December 25th. And there's more kayaks. So this is kind of the toy area. When I was a child, this was definitely kind of where I lived whenever we came in here, and I remember begging my parents for stuff, and it's just a fun look back on those memories. Now we're coming up on what used to be the garden center. Now, as you can tell, it's just sort of being repurposed into another area for bigger merchandise such as pools, even though we're in January. And here we have some more toys on clearance, and we're going into the electronics area. I remember that this used to be a big place that my parents and I would go to buy DVDs or even VHS types, like really back in the day, before the whole Netflix era. So this is definitely a big childhood flashback, as I've said a million times. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.